It's end of an era and the end for James Gunn's tenure at Marvel. Because we're talking movies, we're talking Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, starring Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, and Karen Gillan. Written and directed by James Gunn. Chris, my beloved raccoon, the story has been yours all along. You just didn't know it.
I once took a poo shaped like a fish. Even my butt is capable of metaphor.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? We've done about, a million episodes, and we looked at our stats. We have a pretty loyal fan base, and I feel like they could probably write this episode without even hearing it, knowing that we're doing a fucking part 3 of a Marvel movie. And actually, Scott, before I throw it over to you, my quote there about Drax taking a poop kind of goes in with our new podcast that we're going to come out, Poopcast, Poop Pod, coming to you next Wednesday. Anyway, Scott, take us away.
Make promises you're not going to keep.
Oh, I will poop and I will pod and I will cast next Wednesday. Tune into the Poop Pod.
A live feed.
It's a live stream. Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay, so what did I think of this movie? What did I think? Okay, so my thoughts.
Hold on, before you jump in, were you, the Guardians of the Galaxy, I would argue, is different than some of the other Marvel movies. It's a little more tongue-in-cheek and stuff like that. So were you looking forward to this film? Are you into the Guardians groove?
Well, I was gonna fuck. Are you going through my show notes? Because that's for my 10-minute. Once we hit the 10-minute thing, that's what I was gonna start discussing it. But sure,
Scott's been taking screenwriting courses, and he's like, so I know that every 10 pages I've got to have some action. So,
so all right, we'll move ahead. Okay, so yes, I am gonna miss these bunch of misfits, because especially since when the first film came out, that first film was supposed to be the downfall of Marvel, right? It was going to be their first flop because it was a bunch of relatively unknown characters. I would say probably an unproven director at the time, because all he had directed was the Super, Slither, and his directorial debut, which was his short film or whatever, that Nomeo in Julia.
Just so you know, a little can. We haven't done this in a bit. Slither is a joint Canadian and American production. So there you go.
Nice. But yeah, I think this group of characters and this trilogy, I would say, in terms of these guys, are probably the most enduring Marvel characters that they have, because they did something that I think was pretty special in terms of, especially with the being an interconnected Marvel universe. These guys were actually able to evolve. Who they were at the first film is not who they are by the end of this one, and to me that's pretty special, and it can see why they're so endured and why this franchise specifically is so beloved now.
On that topic of a franchise being beloved, so it's got an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, not bad for a Marvel movie, 95 from the audience. But is this a box office flop with a $250 million budget and only bringing in $400 million? Yes, it may have some legs, but we're still in the possible under its marketing and production budget. So what's the hubbub on the nerd Twitter and the nerdverse?
Well, that I don't know. You're the one that handles the Twitter for our pod.
Listen, remember, I got banned from participating in Marvel action.
See, it's only when I start seeing the spam coming in and fucking the hate that I have to jump in on Twitter to save your ass. But I usually stay away from Twitter. I don't think it's going to be. I think this is going to have some legs, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it comes. I don't think it's going to hit the billion mark, but I think it might come close. I might
Really? Okay, you heard it here first. Scott's prediction is getting close to the B mark. You can hear more of his predictions on Scott's Cock on Thursday.
Yeah. But yeah, because it's 400 million now, right?
Yeah, man. So
that's
you're saying
opening
like,
weekend.
do you think it'll double? Do you think it'll hit 8?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it still hasn't hit the China market.
I feel like we're playing Wheel of Fortune right now.
Yeah, like I don't think it's opened in China yet, and this film will do well there. Like, so yeah, I don't think it's gonna hit a billion. I think those are gonna come back and be movies that are far and few between, especially post COVID. It's no, Maverick, it's no Top Gun, it's no Avatar.
Or Avatar, yeah.
Yeah, so but I do think the word of mouth is going to keep it going and you know give it some legs, right? Like, what's its major competition next? It's Fast, right? Fast X.
Yeah, man, I saw the trailer for that and I was like, I already thought these fucking franchises were stupid. This made it stupider.
Oh, you could have took my family, but you didn't take my car.
Oh man, and then just as a sidebar, Vin Diesel's like, yeah, supposedly there's going to be a trilogy. I'm like, wait, but you have 10 movies. You're already over the 3 movies that makes a trilogy. So unless they're talking like a specific story, like who watches these fucking movies, man?
Oh, 100%. Like you are.
Studios have given up on new ideas entirely in favor of building multi-movie universes that breed brand-loyal customers from cradle to grave. So if you like Harry Potter, cash Shinnigus, you're getting 10 fucking more. You like the Fast and Furious flicks? We're gonna drive the franchise into the ground, bitch.
I think you protest a little too much. So that just makes me say, like, yeah, you watch it.
I've actually already got my VIP screening that I'm going to be checking out. So
there you go. Okay, so in terms of back to this one, so what did I think of this one? Okay, so my thought coming out of this movie was, okay, so a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. Did this movie have to be that long? And with some reflection and some thought, it did. Jesus. Wait, listen, and let me explain why.
Okay.
Because
this movie could have been 90 fucking minutes long. But
yes,
anyway,
I understand. This story could have been 90 minutes, but the reason why in my opinion, it had to go as long is really one of the downfalls of having a connected universe in Marvel. Right? You like James Gunn has to autocorrect where these characters were to get them to the place where these characters actually serve the story, right? Like, think about it. The last time we saw these guys was Thor 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are these the same characters you saw in Thor 4?
I can't remember.
Was Quill an alcoholic?
Okay, listen, so first off, like most things that go on too long, they're making up for not being good. You could have done all that quick backstory in like 15 minutes. The way there is actually a passable fucking film in this bloated carcass of a sea troll. You know what I mean? Basically it's essentially a rescue story, right? You got to get from point A to point B to save point C raccoon, right? So just make it straighter. Just get there fucking faster. Fighting, flying, all that. The jokes I would say they're funny. Is it Dax or Drax? Drax, right?
Drax, yeah.
That guy's fucking hilarious, man. The deadpan, he delivers the lines great. There was, like laugh out loud kind of scenes.
Not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
This has a major, essentially like animal rights, animal testing, like emotional trigger in it, which is pretty graphic for this type of film.
Yeah, this film's 100% approved by PETA.
Yeah. So do you think they went overboard? Like, I almost felt like it was well done in the sense I was like, I got teary-eyed and stuff, and you're very sad. And I'm like, is it necessary? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think that it needed to be like that, or
To be honest, I don't know. Right?
because you didn't cry because you're a fucking robot?
No, like, come on, man.
Me be called Floor because me is lying on floor.
You're lying on a floor, so your name is Floor?
Yes.
I'm emotional, but it is still CGI fucking animals, like. But still, like, I think it was well done, and the one thing that I did like about this character, like, not this character, but the villain, it wasn't the overindulgent, like, I'm gonna rule the world kind of thing.
No, I just want to be God and create a perfect society. I think we know someone else that tried that.
Yes, and that's the thing, right? Like, you can have that subtlety in the story, and I think that's what works well with this stuff. Like, you can have
That was not subtle. That was not subtle. That was like beat over the head. So some of the comments I have seen from critics on this essentially talk exactly about that, is that there is no nuance. It's like emotion being yelled into your face, right? Like even the animal rights stuff, like it's not nuanced. It's not subtle. It's like animal testing, cut them open, kill them, shoot them with bullets. Like, it's blatant and obvious, right? So there is no nuance. There is no subtlety. I don't know if you know what those words actually mean. And I am clearly being subtle about my explanation right now.
But what I'm saying is, this will be discussed on Pood Pod but, while you're taking a shit. Because, yeah, all you have right now is verbal diarrhea.
Nice. I like what you did there.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah. I contribute something to this podcast, not much, but something. But yeah, I think it, like, for yourself, I'm assuming you thought it was too long and you were bored at times, right?
At times, most of the time, I was mostly bored, except when Baptista would say something and then it would be funny, right? So,
right. Well, I also thought, like, the car scene was pretty fucking funny too.
Like when they're trying to get in the car.
When she was trying
push
to
the
get
button.
into the
No, lift the handle, push the button, get in the fucking car.
It looks like you're pushing the keyhole.
The what?
There's a button under the handle. Press that in.
Okay. Now what?
Open the door.
Yeah. Like I said, they did the comedy well. It's just that there's too much just like extra story and going to this fucking planet. So I've only actually seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a slog for me to get to. I think it took me 6 times to get through the whole film.
Okay.
So I'm assuming and I don't know the comic. This is based on a comic book, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming the whole shtick with the music and the iPod and the Walkman, and like, I'm assuming
that to my knowledge is just a James Gunn thing, right? Like, he does infuse a lot of music, especially older music, into his films, right? Like, he's a soundtrack guy.
Okay, good. So now I'm going to cut his guts out on that one. So, okay, everybody, I know it's early, get ready to drink. So when we see contemporary music in a Quentin Tarantino film,
why are you the way that you are?
Okay, you've drunk, great. It's often used sparingly, but when it's used, it has great effect, right? It really, it brings the scene up. We can all still remember, Stuck in the Middle with You, the ear being cut off scene. It's powerful. It fills out a scene. It makes it better. James Gunn, definitely in this film, and again, I can't remember the first one. And I just watched it. It's ham-fisted. There's a show on Netflix. It's actually a really great show called Sex Education that also does it. It originally starts with a lot of like cool 80s, like New Order and stuff like that. But then like every fucking 3 minutes, it's like bang, bang, bang. And so it loses its effect. And this happened the same thing too. There's like, when you first hear some of this contemporary music, you're like, oh, that's great. And then 2 minutes later, there's another song. And 2 minutes later, there's another song. So it's like, it's just bad scoring at that point. And
I'm
honestly,
not
the
gonna
whole
lie, I
like,
liked
you know,
it.
like I like the color scheme that they do when they're like in the spacesuits and they're going to the planet. You know what? Maybe James Gunn should just go shoot music videos or some shit. Because like this whole film really doesn't feel like a well directed narrative. It's just like a bunch of like little set pieces happening. Actually, you know what? I've got someone better who can say this. Kyle Smith from the Wall Street Journal. GOTG 3 is a blah buster that, like other recent Marvel disappointments, jogs along from one visually extravagant, strenuously jokey set piece to another without offering much in the way of either dramatic engagement or actual funny ideas.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I would disagree in the funny part. I think it's definitely comical. I wish they would just like lean into the comedy, yank out a bunch of the drama, tighten the fucking film up, and get her on the go.
Sure. I will disagree with both of you. Well, except for you, the comedy part is good. I like James Gunn. All right. I like Slither. To me, that movie's awesome.
Have you seen James Gunn's PG porn web series?
Yes, those are hilarious too.
They are amazing. Anybody who's listening to it, just go on YouTube, type in James Gunn PG porn. Fucking amazing. And the fact that Sasha Grey is in one of the, I think it's like Ass-tastic.
Well, every single one of them has a porn star with an actor.
But I mean, I think Sasha Grey is the most famous one that I could pull off just like from my viewing habits.
I was just practicing my mantra.
So she's top on your search list, eh? Not the other ones from
as soon
the
as
early
you open
2000.
my Google in the search bar, definitely watch that. Like he is definitely.
You're like Entourage, Sasha Grey.
Yes, actually, you know what? I love the fact that Sasha Grey in Entourage plays herself in the most sophisticated way. Like the other characters are treating her like this like dumb sex worker, and she's like, "Yeah, I read like a book a day. You people are fucking stupid." Like she really, because that's how she is in real life, supposedly, right? Like she's actually a super educated individual, and like she's like, it's porn, it's just my job. I do it, da da da. But yeah, the James Gunn PG porn web series was fucking hilarious. I think it's the best work he's done as a writer director. You know what I mean? So
what you're saying is pretty soon on our show, it's going to be Steven Soderbergh's girlfriend experience, just so you can get your Sasha Grey fix now that you can actually review a movie. You can talk about a movie she's in.
I mean, I'm not opposed to reviewing Sasha Grey in all the ways. So,
but yeah, I think. Fuck, I don't even remember what we were talking about now. You got Sasha Grey on my mind.
Is it weird that? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, so the director James Gunn of this Marvel film is the current CEO of the like DC universe over at what is it, Warner Brothers. I was like, that's fucking weird.
That's not, man. Like
that's not weird that you're the CEO of one company in you're directing and writing.
No, but he just recently got that position, right? Like Guardians was already in the can, and you got to remember James Gunn already done 2 DC projects as well, right? Like he did Suicide Squad, and he did Peacemaker. You got to remember when Marvel canceled James Gunn, DC came to the rescue. DC gave him a job.
So do you know much about that? I did a quick like look, and it's weird because like Disney's got solid lawyers. They understand contracts. And this is how it feels to me. So, you feel free to push back. So he gets in trouble for some old tweets. They fire him. He's already got the script. He's already supposed to be the director. And then it's like, they're looking at the contracts and they're like, well, fuck. Like, he's not technically in breach of contracts. So we're still probably going to have to pay him 8 to 10 million. A bunch of the cast are like, well, we won't break our contracts as long as we're still using his script. So now they're like, well, we got to fire him but still work with him, and so then they just bring him back, and I'm like, guys, like maybe don't fire people until you talk to legal. You know what I mean? Because you end up paying a bunch of money and then doing exactly what you were going to do in the first place.
Yeah, like in terms of the legal stuff, that much I don't know about. Like to my understanding, it was the same thing. Like fucking cancel culture, right? Like shit from the past that he tweeted, whether now not acceptable, but was acceptable back then. Um, he apologized. They let him go, and from my understanding, it was just the cast didn't want to do anything without him. So I don't know. That's what I got out of it. And then when DC took him and they're like, fuck it, okay, we'll take him back, right? And then he got the position where he's like half Kevin Feige, like he's going to take care of the storyboard, the story side of everything, and Peter Safran is going to take care of like the meetings and the financials and everything like that. And it's going to be interesting, right? Like you can only really reboot something so many times where it loses its interest. So if he's starting it with the Superman legacy, it's it is a lot of pressure that's going to be on him to
at
make
least it
succeed.
sounds like they have someone at the helm that cares about comic books, that isn't just like, oh, we have IP, let's try and squeeze as much juice out of it. This guy seems to give a shit about superhero movies, care about comics being done. It's sort of like a guy like Kevin Smith or something, except Gunn seems to have a better track record than Smith on some of his films. I love Kevin Smith's early stuff. So I think it's good. I think it's better than just having some like corporate shill being like, Superman, Batman, whatever. Whatever money we can get for this, let's do it.
Yeah, I think what made Marvel work is Kevin Feige, because you do have a guy who is a fan of the stuff, and he's trying to put the best screen forward. I think James Gunn's going to be the same in terms of the DC stuff, but hey, it's still, you never know, man. Like, because in reality, like whatever's happening like corporate wise with DC, with Warner Brothers and Discovery, and whether or not the rumors are true, whether or not they're just trying to shed money to make themselves look profitable so they can sell it again to make money, right? Like that affects technically the consumer's opinion of these films, because it's like, what's the point of going to watch them if they're just going to change it again?
Well, and Warner Brothers has just through their big merger, they had shows that were coming out that were done, post-production, and they just fucking canceled them to take the tax write-off, right? So capitalism, baby, exactly. Capitalism.
Yeah. Now,
in
question, I know this is off topic, but do you think they kind of regret one? Like, do you think they will regret not releasing Batgirl?
Well, I don't think the people at the top will, because they're just moving beans around on an abacus, right? Like, if it got them the tax break that they wanted, and it pumped up their share price and the investors are happy, they don't give a fuck. They would put on like White Noise on HBO Max if that was what was going to bring in, and the money that they needed.
Nice kickback. White Noise, a little Michael Keaton movie, Batman. I like it.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about actual White Noise, but that's great that we're on a movie podcast and you did that. So
but what I was going to say is, because technically that if it was released when it was supposed to be released, that would have been Academy Award winning actor Brandon Fraser's next movie after winning
the Oscar,
the Oscar, right? Which I think that would have gave a little boost, and it probably would have made more than the 90 million it cost.
Quite possibly, but we don't know how much those tax savings, because it was a whole package of product that got kind of dumped, right? Do you think there's like there was a proper setup for a Guardians 4?
I don't know if it's going to be Guardians 4, to be honest. Like, if you look, like, spoilers at the end, everybody who technically is now a Guardian are the voice people, the motion capture feature, and a bunch of other people that you got introduced or like got added on from before, right? I know Batista said he's done with Drax. He doesn't want to play the character anymore. I'm pretty sure Zoe, oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Zoe
Salada.
Yeah. She said the same thing about Gamora. I think the only one who literally said he would come
It's
back
Chris Pratt.
is Chris Pratt, which is why he's the tag at the end that says the legendary Star-Lord will return, right? It's not Guardians will return, it's Star-Lord will
Well,
return.
I mean, let's be honest. It's kind of like his career. Like it's his biggest franchise. He's played that character in all, the Marvel universe or whatever. I mean, I guess he just did voice acting for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Do you know he's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter?
Yes.
That's crazy. I was like,
it's his second wife.
Yeah, it's his second wife. But I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Like your
Who was his
father-in-law is like
first?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like,
Who was his first wife?
what's her name from The Office? Pam. Yes, man.
Pam from The Office?
Yeah.
Isn't his first wife Anna Faris from Scary Movie?
No, you're right. I got the director mixed up with Chris Pratt. Yes, you are correct. It was Anna Faris. So,
What you're saying is based on your how you did it for Operation Fortune. So from now on, Chris Pratt will just be known as Arnold Schwarzenegger's son-in-law, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
It's just those kind of connections, not anything like that.
I wonder like how hard it is to not like be like, hey Arnold, I'm gonna go to the store and then I'll be back. And like
We are not amused.
Like no one. I to be honest, like I have no idea, but I think Arnold Schwarzenegger would be a cool like father-in-law, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it would be hard not to just be like, oh, hey, can you pass the chicken and don't terminate me? And like just constantly be throwing shit out there.
No, because I'm pretty sure he could still knock out Chris Pratt.
Yeah, probably. His security team definitely could. Anyway,
it would just be like, oh, how are you getting to the premiere? I'm going to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. No, seriously, the chopper. It's in the backyard. Get to it. So I guess you're recommending this.
Yeah, it was fun. I do think it was well done. And yeah, like I would say do it because it beats whatever fucking indie drama movie about like fucking rocks or whatever you're gonna pick. That's so much better because of the cinematographer,
or the story, or the dialogue,
the cinematographer,
fucking the competency of the director,
off.
any of that crazy shit. You know what I mean?
It's just you're just gonna be like, you should watch this movie because the cinematographer, if you don't know, once jerked off in front of a Quentin Tarantino poster, and then he brushed up to Christopher Nolan once in a lineup. So he's amazing.
I'm glad you brought up Nolan because we're hopefully going to be seeing some Oppenheimer soon. Looks fucking fantastic. So
sure, if you say so. You just want a reason to watch Matt Damon. That's it. Like,
well,
I know what your kinks are, man. That's why you're like for weeks. You're like, when's the Air gonna come out? When's the Air's gonna come out? We need to do Air. We're
doing back to back Matt back.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god. Oh my god! If they could make a sequel to Downsizing where they actually clone Matt Damon, like I would so be the guy in the middle going skiing. And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
Man, I hate being forced to watch these fucking movies. I like Grindhouse, not a grind fest. You know what I mean? Like, it fucking pours my fucking mind apart.
Yeah, but at least, because if we were to do Evil Dead, the podcast would be like, well, after 5 minutes, I had my eyes closed. So I don't really know what happened, Scott. Can you tell me what happened?
This is true. This is like, on one hand, I want to do Evil Dead, what do you think? It's a prequel or it's like a parallel space or something like that. But I am definitely too afraid to fucking watch that movie, so. Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.